Hello everybody, welcome to the stream. How are you doing? Today is Katawa Shoujo because it's Monday, my time. Hang on, I need to actually read just... that works, I guess. I'm just moving windows around. Oh, right, there's actually one more thing I wanted to check. Forgive me for a moment. Okay, we're good to go then. We're doing Hanako, more Hanako. Do I have sound? I do, good. Okay. Oh my god, it's such a weird situation in my room right now. Alright. Oh, right, I also wanna... I should have prepared better. I'm like remembering everything I normally do when I have the stream starting soon up. I don't know, I just kinda... didn't plan well today, it seems. Okay. The hammering of a fist against the door feels like a nail being pounded into my head. That's right, we're being woken up. Once, twice, 3 times, I let out a long, annoyed breath and bear it while pressing my eyelids shut, fervently hoping for whoever it is to just go away. Feel pretty damn awful. My face feels like it's cast out of lead. My arms feel heavy, and I feel very queasy. It's been like this since I woke up half an hour ago, and I can't summon the energy to pick myself up out of bed. So this is what they call a hangover. I wonder if perhaps this is the best treatment for teenagers who desperately want to try drinking as a way to feel like an adult. Considering how unpleasant this is, it's not something I want to repeat. Ooh, man. Ooh, man. I've only ever had like... I've only ever had like one really bad hangover. Like I've had a few like normal ones, like where you just kind of whatever. And then I've had one where I feel like death and I just don't want to do anything. like I woke up and it was just like my throat was dry and I was like, oh shit, I gotta like get up to get water, and then went up and got water, but then like I felt like I was gonna throw up when I got up, and then I felt like I was gonna throw up when I was drinking the water, and I'm just like, oh, this is horrible, and then I just had a headache and constantly felt like I was gonna throw up for like hours. It was after a friend's party, and even once we then like all went out and bought stuff and had breakfast and I had food in me, I still just like felt so shitty. Not a fun time. Not a fun time. But that's the only time I've had like a bad one. Usually I don't. Usually it's just a pretty normal one that goes away fairly easily. A series of thumps ring out again, reverberating around the small room. I wish they'd just give up already. I have no intention of getting out of bed for them. See, you see something like this and you're like, oh, but obviously it's something that's a big deal. You know, they're banging the wall. What if it's about Hanako, dude? You gotta get out of bed. But then I think about times when people bang on the door really hardly when I'm asleep, and it's like I don't fucking get up. It could be something serious then too, but I don't fucking get up. I stay in bed, even if they're banging loudly. I don't give a shit. Second past, turning to minutes. Since no more knocks are coming from the door, whoever it was must have left. Thank goodness. You fool! This is gonna have ramifications, I know it. Looking at my clock, the time when I really should think about getting dressed and ready for class is approaching. I don't think I can manage it, though. I have cutting class. I hate cutting class, but I don't think I'm gonna be able to get much done at this rate. I can tell I look like a mess without needing to look in the mirror to confirm it, too. Whoa, a spike of... fucking lag spike there. What the fuck was that? The stream was perfect till then. The morning rush is giving me enough time to stand outside the classroom for a little while without looking too suspicious. I hope that Muto doesn't ask any awkward questions about not attending school yesterday. I was sick, that much is true. It's just the reason for it that I have to hide. Confident I can get by with a tactical omission of certain truths, I stride into the classroom doing my best to appear normal. Yeah, just be like, oh, you know, I wasn't feeling well. Don't use the word sick specifically. The instant I open the door and take a single step in, I can feel a dozen eyes looking at me. There is no way I'm imagining this, they're not even making any attempt to hide it. My eyes take a quick sweep around the classroom and I spot Hanako. We make eye contact momentarily before she looks down and stares very hard at her desk. Did she spill the beans? Muto may be okay as far as teachers go, but underage drinking on campus is not exactly something that would be taken lightly. I look to him with some trepidation. Feeling better today? Yeah, thank you. He motions for me to take my seat. My legs feeling like sticks as they carry me there. This is gonna be a long day. As soon as the lunch bell rings, I'm on my way to Hanako's desk to ask her what's going on. Hanako, did you tell? She looks up at me and shakes her head. That's a big relief. It's just? Oh, hello there, Hick-chan. It's nice to see you again today. Oh god, here they are. What is with Shizuna's face? I grimace and turn towards the unmistakable voice coming from behind me. That was way too upbeat a tone of voice to feel comfortable, even for Misha. Yeah, I could tell she's like, fucking got some scheme going on right now. What is it? Misha's happy smile is nothing out of the usual. Shizuna's, though, is a very bad sign. The one she wears has become noticeable in my brain as her I have got you 7 ways from Sunday smile. Oh no. Hi, Shizune. Oh, Misha, you look happy to see me? Is that a bulge in your pants, or are you just happy to see me? Comedy. Oh shit, I did that with the mic fucking on. Oh well. Not feeling well yesterday, Hick-chan. No, I wasn't, but I'm feeling better now at least. That's good to know, Hick-chan. Why do I get the feeling that Shizune is leading me into a trap? You sound like you're not being completely serious. Oh no, Hick-chan. We're genuinely pleased that you're all better now. Shizune is positively overflowing with happiness. There's only one reason why she would be like this. Oh no. In fact, we were quite worried about you, after all. You, Hanako, and Lily were all absent from class on the same day. Yep, she got us so thoroughly that all I can do is sigh in defeat. Guess you have your own theories about this. Could you just kinda not tell anyone? It's a bit late for that, Hick-chan. Suppose she's right, considering the looks I got as I entered the class. Still, things only seem to be on the level of vague suspicion, rather than outright accusations, so we'll probably be fine. Yeah, they probably just have a few ideas, but no concrete. Okay, I thought they, like, maybe saw Hisao and Hanako, like, when they went back to their room the other night, her room the other night. That's what I thought it was going to be. Hanako's face sinks a little further. Such attention is troublesome enough for me, let alone for her. Going by Shizuna and Misha's reaction, I think they noticed this as well. The only reason why we're giving you such a hard time is that you ignored us yesterday morning. Oh, so it was them. Probably came to see if I was okay. Yesterday morning. It takes a while to recollect what happened then, given the haze induced by the generally awful state I was in at the time. Oh right, the knocking. That was you two? It was, and you left us there for ages after we'd taken all the effort of coming to your dormitory early in the morning. Sorry, I was having a problem with nausea. They're not buying it. Can't blame them. Shizune's head drops in resignation before she reaches into her pocket. Something white and yellow can be seen sticking out a little, and as she pulls it out, it turns out to be an envelope with very bright decorations on it. Since she points it towards me, I duly take it. This is what we were trying so hard to give you, Hicton. You don't check your... I tune out the sound of Mish's voice as my eyes register what's written on the envelope. Hanako. I stare at the envelope for a moment before suddenly remembering that there are people around me. It's a very strange, somewhat invasive feeling about their expressions. I kind of want to be alone right now. Hanako. It's nothing. Thank you for bringing this, you two. I should think so, after what we went through to get it to you. Step back and say my goodbyes. Misha theoretically pouts even as I go out the door, but Shizuna and Hanako remain very visibly curious about my reaction. I hope they won't interrogate me on this later. It's so weird that, like, this is the second time I've got a letter from her in this route, right? You get none in the Rin route. And also, once you start hanging out with Rin, you pretty much say fuck off to Shizuna and Misha for, like, the rest of the game. Minus, like, a few very select moments. But this one's, like, it's still got Misha and Shizuna doing a bunch that you talk to. Isn't this the first time in this route? I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure it's not. There was one, like, that we got and we read it as it was, like, on the desk. It's the second time I've gotten a letter from her in the game as a whole, but I'm pretty sure it was in this route. I guess we'll see after we see the contents. I'm pretty sure this is the second time in this route, and I'm just saying that's weird because we got none on the Rin route. Like, on the Rin route, everything fucked off and it just kind of became Rin. Like, even Emmy wasn't that present. But with Hanako, like, her counterpart, Lily, is super present. Misha and Shizune still talk to me a bunch and are present in scenes. Even get entire scenes with, like, just Lily. Like, it's very... the Hanako route's very much more, like, I don't know, got a lot more going on. It makes kind of sense, since Rin is very insular herself, that hanging out with her would... and her route would be, like, the same way, but I don't know. It just feels like it's so completely different. It's, like even these other aspects that existed before, but are just, like, actually being explored in this route. Like, you would think this whole past girl thing would have been more of a point. Like, the way it is here, I would have expected that to be, like, the case in all the routes. But, it wasn't in Rin's, and so I'm curious if it was just Rin's that didn't have it, or if it's just Hanako that does have it. Maybe it's a bit of both, in other routes, I don't know. The smell of the gardens is, as always, a very pleasant sensation. Some of the most visible signs of how well funded the school is, aside from its sheer size, are the expanse, the expanse and condition of the grounds. That's not good English. A good number of students can be seen eating lunch, chatting, and playing on the bright green lawns. Even some of the staff is enjoying the summer here, keeping watch over the students and idly walking along the long concrete paths. I'd never seen a sight like this in my home city. On excursions, maybe, but certainly never in the school, or anywhere near where I lived. Even the bench I sit on to read is warmer thanks to the summertime sun, reminding me of why I haven't worn the school blazer even once yet. Considering this, the sunflowers and splashes of vibrant yellow coloring adorning the paper are quite appropriate for the time, if only the words written on it were as well. Here I was, thinking I'd managed to get over her, when this troublesome thing shows up. Her handwriting looks vaguely familiar at best, and only now that I see it again, I remember that she used to write in pink pen a lot. She was always very girly, for lack of a better term. But she was also quite fragile. I never knew if I liked that aspect of her or not. Though with the arrival of this letter, that question seems to have become largely moot. Letter brings with not much more than an update on the state of things going on in our life. My older class had a good start of the school year. Many are anxious about the exams that'll be coming up in the future, etc. But it ends on a very personal, if brief, note. It feels a bit like she wrote most of the letter just to try and soften the blow from the ending. I wanted to somehow express my feelings, but the right words didn't come to me. I couldn't say anything to comfort you. I'm really sorry for not being able to support you when it mattered the most. Even though I like you so much, at least now, finally, I can be more honest. If I could go back to those quiet days in February and March, I'd tell you to not give up on yourself. That's what I would say. Maybe you wouldn't have drifted so far away if I had just said something. I hope you have managed to get back on your feet on your own. Now that the distance between us is also physical, it almost feels more like somehow, I wonder if we will meet again. Perhaps it's for the best if we don't. Still, if you would like to correspond with me, by all means write me back. I'd very much like to hear about your new school and how you are doing. I wish you all the best. Sincerely, Hanako. And so, that's that. Our relationship is over. Nice, neat, and tidy with no ambiguity. Was there one in Rin's route? This is definitely the second note. But was the first one in Rin's route or this route? I'm not even sure now, after reading it. Maybe Toast knows, but I don't. I haven't held on to any illusion that it could ever begin anew. The last time she visited me, neither of us said a thing, except for the one word she said as she left for the last time. Goodbye. Be that as it may, it feels more final. The capstone of an experiment that both of us tried and failed at. A loud shout draws my eyes away from the letter. It's just some students horsing around. Quit horsing around! Fucking... the YouTube rewind fucking ruined the phrase horsing around. Because now whenever I hear it, I just think of Ninja. Quit horsing around! Hang on. My mic's being weird. Whatever. Should be fine. Wait, I didn't... Horsing around, with one of the teachers standing nearby coming over to talk to them. Are you okay? A tentative voice comes from my side. For a moment, I assume it to be Hanako, but it's actually Yuko. Yuko! Best girl, Yuko rat. This is the secret Yuko rat unlocked. Oh, hello, Yuko. I thought you'd be in the library. She gives a cheerful smile, one quite fitting the atmosphere, and flourishes the empty wrapping of a roll in her hand. She must have someone else covering for her while she grabbed something to eat. It reminds me that I haven't had anything to eat yet. I don't feel hungry, though, and skipping out one lunch won't hurt. Mind if I sit here? Sure, go ahead. I quickly slide the letter back into its envelope, slipping it inside my bag, propped against the side of the bench as Yuko takes a seat. She drops the wrapper into a bin beside us. There's no bin next to that bench. Without much else to do, I guess we're not on that bench. Are we on a different bench that's right in front of it? Mayhaps? Without much else to do, I lean back and take what enjoyment I can from the sun slightly reflecting on the letter. The lush lawns, the clear blue sky, everything looks so different from the way it did back then. Even the schools surrounding from the hill it's up... What? Even the school's surroundings, from the hill it's on to the woods around it, are completely opposite to the urban scenery I remember. Maybe this is what it feels, maybe this is what it's like to feel homesick. Then again, it's not an outright bad sensation. The feel of the area around Yamaku, while very different, is also nice. I think I could get used to it. Pretty sure the first was in Rin's? Damn, maybe it was. What do I feel like? Damn, I feel really adamant that it was Hanako's, but I guess not. It's so weird. I feel like it was much more recent. Oh well. Hey Hasao. Yeah? You didn't answer my question from before. I wasn't gonna say anything, but you still look troubled. If you don't want to say anything, though, that's okay. I don't mind at all. Sorry for asking something strange like that. I don't mind. It's just, I got a letter from someone I knew before I came to Yamaku. It made me think about some things. I thought I'd managed to get over most of the problems that my accident caused, but now I'm not really so sure. I kinda wish I'd never seen it. I don't think that's good, Asao. When my boyfriend left me, he did so very suddenly, and never let me know why. At first I was very depressed about it, but I decided to forgive him. Yo! You go single. Yo! You go single hype. Why can't I date her, goddammit game? You forgave him? Couldn't he at least have talked properly with you about it? Wonder who that boyfriend was. What? Is it someone we know? What? Oh, wait. No! Don't let it be so. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Is it really? Oh shit. Is it fucking actually? I'm gonna lose my fucking mind. Holy shit. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. If you're suggesting what I think you're suggesting, then holy fucking shit. Especially after what we know because of the one death route I got. Holy shit. Holy shit. This is the real Hanako route revelation. Holy shit. He was always one of those people that found it difficult to come close to others. Oh, god damn. In the end, I decided that I fell in love with him for a reason. He was a good person, and I think that if I had been in his position, I would probably have found it just as hard to try to talk to him. I don't really see the connection to the letter I got. I mean that, how should I put this? It must have been very hard for that person to send that letter, and if they did, I think they must have thought very hard about exactly what to say. Hanako managed to write this letter and bring a final close to our relationship, something that I'd never managed to do. Whereas here I am, trying to protect and help Hanako as best I can, especially with Lily leaving for a while, and I'm not even able to deal with my own problems. Does that make sense? She's taking a non-responsive and furrowed brow as doubt. She really reads faces too much, just like a certain other person. Yeah, that makes sense. The letter was just kind of a shock, really. I think I'd try to fool myself into thinking that my life reset when I came into Yamaku, but now I'm suddenly aware that it didn't. I'm at a bit of a loss how to deal with these feelings. I think that's something I can't really help you with. Sorry. It's fine. I think being able to talk with you helped me get things sorted out a bit better in my head, so thank you anyway. She nods and smiles sweetly. Yuko is a nice girl. Oh yeah, she is. So it's the same she's so highly strung so often. School bell ringing out startles us both. I was supposed to go back before the bell. Oops. She jumps off the bench and almost races off without a second word, but turns on her heels as she remembers she was talking to me just now. See you later, Hisao. Cheer up, okay? I'll try to. Thanks, Yuko. With a quick bow, Yuko takes her leave and begins her rush to the library. Her flight catches the curious eye of a few passing students who are unenthusiastically trudging back to their classes after their fun. Reluctantly standing from the bench, I dust myself off and join them. Even while I walk through the gardens back to the main building, the thought of the letter in my bag doesn't stray far from my mind. Thank you everybody who's watching. Just a quick reminder. If you haven't followed me yet, you know, it's free. It's free, and you can always unfollow later if you want. Just a suggestion. Thank you for watching anyway. It's always helpful. I appreciate you all stopping by. The feeling of walking through the streets is one of a very deep nostalgia. While Yamaku may be like the reverse of where I've lived in the past, the city at night is amazingly familiar. My eyes moving constantly from the bright electronic screens glowing high in the night sky, to the street lamps piercing the darkness with their light, to the businessmen enjoying themselves after work, and the busily talking couples on dates. Just wait for the massive reveal in Shiznera. Is that when it, like, fully is actually revealed? Because I wouldn't have guessed, I wouldn't have even known what you were talking about when you say I wonder who that boyfriend was if it wasn't for what you told me in one of the earlier streams. So, I don't know, it wouldn't have been a no shit moment yet, but man, maybe. So I guess it's like fully revealed then? Then. Well, I am planning to do Shizune next. I'm going to do Shizune, Lily, and Emmy last. After Hanako. My eyes are moving constantly from the bright electronic screens to the businessmen enjoying themselves after work and the busily talking couples on dates. Even if I didn't want to, I can't help soaking in every aspect of the city. I savor its familiarity like a sweet candy sitting on my tongue. Leah's walking to my left with her cane, swinging to and fro, holding onto her sister's arm for guidance while talking to her. Compared to traveling by taxi or bus, being driven by Akira in a rather nice car was a much more enjoyable experience. Whoa, maybe not for the person on my right though. Lily was used to her sister's driving style, and I quite liked a bit of excitement. Hanako was holding very tightly to the door for most of the trip. Yeah, that's a nice outfit. Do show image, just so I can see it. We haven't seen casual Hanako yet, right? I don't think so. We've just seen normal in pajama. I like this outfit's nice. I like the hat. Everything looks so pretty at night. Hanako quietly looks down yet again as she accidentally catches someone's gaze. Yeah, it does. My answer isn't very thoughtful since I'm distracted by so many thoughts that I find it hard to keep up small talk. One of those distractions, aside from the city sights, is how Hanako looks. This is the first time I've seen her in something other than her school uniform or her pajamas. Hey, he's having the same thoughts I am. Gave me pause when I first saw her outfit when we met up at the school gate. Considering how much her head is lowered when people walk near us, I imagine that the hat she wears is more than a fashion statement. It's a good hat though. Initially I was wary of Lily's pain to take us out into the city. When night fell, it became obvious she had thought about this. Not many people have paid Hanako much heed since the darkness hides her scarring well. So, we're in the city. Any ideas on what to do? Akira beams a smile. Something tells me that she's the one who's making this particular decision, even if her sister may have proposed the outing in the first place. You'll see. Just follow us. I nod and try my best to stifle a grimace. After what happened during Hanako's birthday party, I don't trust Akira's judgment all that much. I keep walking, and I notice that we're passing more and more cafes, restaurants, and other eateries. Every once in a while, a drunken man in a suit comes out of a bar, usually being supported by another, but for the most part, the customers around this part of the city look young and fashionable. Different kinds of music come and go as we pass by each business. The discord created by the overlaps should be grating, but it reminds me so strongly of the times I spent in the city with my old friends that I don't mind. I'm forgetting to breathe. In between sentences. Hanako and I have started to drift a little apart from Lily and Akira. That comes to a stop when I hear a soft thud from beside me. Sorry. By the time she rights herself from her apologetic bow, the middle-aged businessman she bumped into walking away after mumbling a half-hearted apology. Hanako looks a little put off by the experience, and as she quickly skips ahead to match my pace, I notice her head hanging low once more. She probably bumped into him because she was looking downwards and know where she was going. I stepped to the side a little and put one hand on her far shoulder, drawing her closer. So? It's okay, you can walk closer to me. You can walk closer to me if you want. Hanako hesitates but eventually nods in a sense. What? In a sense, I see. After a couple of times, when I thought we had arrived at Akira's destination, we reach our target. By now, we're below the elevated walkways and past the most garish and brightly lit places. I'm a bit surprised. The average age of those around us is distinctly older, and the smell of cigarette smoke is pretty thick. The area is far more seedy, though, and it's a little amusing to see Lily's reaction to the smell of the smoke. While it's masked by the low, talking of for those around us, jazz! You like jazz? Jazz music can be heard emanating from inside. Looking up at the dimly lit sign, it becomes obvious why. A jazz club? I have to admit, this isn't what I expected. Lee gives an amusing snort and a smile. Somehow I feel like I should have known it, Akira. As we talk outside, I notice more and more odd sideways glances directed our way. People awkwardly catch themselves staring and look away, but that just makes it more obvious. I had noticed this occasionally when we were walking, but it's more pronounced now. Never experienced anything like that in my life. An average-looking Japanese teenage guy, just a little taller than normal, isn't the type to draw attention without making an effort. You like jazz? Or the jazz club. Akira probably likes jazz. Hey, come on. Just because you're teenagers doesn't mean you can't have a taste, right? Well, I don't really mind the music, if that's what you mean. I don't mind it either. She's only just managing to force the words out. It contrasts heavily to when we're alone in Yamaku, and it disappoints me a little that she's so highly strung for what's supposed to be a good time out of the town. Wait. Out on the town. I read that as out of the town for a second, and I'm almost like, what the fuck is out of the town? Just doesn't add up, though. Hang on a sec. Hang on, I'm gonna go take some painkillers. I'm getting a killer headache. You want an Akira route, Rimu? That's fair. That's fair. I can respect that. Not my cup of tea, but you know. Give us Sakura. Give us Yuko. And then we can, and then everyone can be happy. Are there any other girls? Give us Arm Chick that we talked to earlier. Chick missing her arm. Yeah, you're not appealing to all the niches, all right? Give us Arm Girl for the dark-skinned fans of dark-skinned girls. Give us friggin' Yuko because she's best girl. And give us Akira because people like Jason fucking want Akira to step on them or something. I don't know. Probably. That's probably the case. Kinky, but no. Nah, fuck off. You wanted to. It's not the reason why you don't want to suit-clad women. She looks like a chill dude. She is a chill dude. She likes jazz after all. Can't get much more chill than that. It's hard to read Hanako's face as she keeps looking downwards. It's little wonder if she doesn't often come out into the city because of this, and it makes me a little thankful that my own scarring is easily hidden. Lily has a similar way of attracting people's gazes, but the reason for it is clearly different. She hardly looks like a native, and the same can be said for her sister. That much is far more noticeable than her blindness from a distance. Blonde hair. She may not be able to see this for herself, but I have little doubt that she can hear the odd whispered phrases from people who think they're out of earshot. Be that as it may, she doesn't seem to show any sign of either annoyance or pleasure at the attention. Akira is still as confident as ever though. Flashing a smile, she strides in with Lily by her side and the two of us following behind. I had expected my eyes to need adjusting to the light inside, but it's not much brighter than outside. The music we'd heard is clearer now, mixed in with the sound of glasses moving on the tables and counters and the husky chatter of the patrons. Looking to my right reveals the music source, a jazz group playing beyond some tables. Patrons seem to be mostly men, and though there's a handful of women, nobody looks under 30, aside from us of course. Feels a little like we've stepped into the 1920s, and the atmosphere is quite agreeable. I'm not completely comfortable, simply because of my age, but were I older, I would probably feel quite at home. Hanako seems a bit more relaxed now, probably due to nobody looking at her. Everybody's talking between themselves, drinking, or watching the band. Akira casual takes a seat at the counter without even glancing around. She's probably come here before. Lily retreats her cane, feeling out the bar stool on the edge of the counter before taking a seat beside her sister. The bartender gives her a brief break from polishing a glass to watch her before putting it down and coming over. Good evening, ladies. What'll it be? Just a scotch, thanks. Lily? I have a glass of chair. A black suited elbow hits her side sharply. Orange juice, please. No problem, coming right up. Bartender starts to pour their drinks. A couple of seconds pass before Akira suddenly remembers that Hanako and I are indeed here and turns around to us. You two want anything, or are you just gonna stand there? Hanako seems to be getting a bit restless. No matter where we're going to seat ourselves, there's going to be people right next to her. And I don't think she looks convincingly older than 20, unlike Lily. Yeah, she really doesn't. Lily can pull it off. Looking around, there's a games section to my right. A couple of billiards tables can be seen at the corner, and nobody's using them either. Billiards, 51 worldwide games. I tricked you all. The real stream. No, the real stream is Katawa Shoujo. Yo, Hanako's route is just the games route. We played chess, now we're gonna play billiards? Like, what is up with that? It's a shame this isn't a visual novel that also has gameplay elements. Those ones are fun. Visual novels that have, like, short, like, gameplay elements that are just, like, little things you do. They're fun. Why couldn't we have that? Let me play chess with her. I want to see how good she is. I glanced at Hanako, about to ask her if she'd like to play, but she's already looking longingly in the same direction. Maybe it says something that we can get by without so few words nowadays. We'll go play pool over there. Akira leans back to see past me before shrugging and sitting back up. Pouty face. Seems you have to put up with only me for company. How unfortunate. Have fun, you two. We turn and set off for the abandoned corner, with Hanako taking the lead. The prospect of a nice, quiet game away from everyone makes her walk noticeably faster. Her eyes stay firmly fixed on her prize. The table's full size and well lit, despite the surrounding darkness. Thanks to the bright overhead lights, a huge painting of something covers the wall. Yeah, that's something alright. There aren't many people milling around this corner of the club, and I can see Hanako becoming a little less tense as a result. You know how to play? Yes, in fact I know how to play multiple versions. There's multiple games you can play with a pool table. You can play 8-ball. You can play, like, elimination. You can play, I'm not sure of the names of other versions, but I know quite a few. I'm no expert, but yeah, I do. Then 8-ball. Sure. Hanako gets the chalk and 2 cues from the set of hooks against one of the walls, when I fetch the balls from the table pockets and grab the rack from a shelf underneath. I wonder if they'll use real rules or somewhat common not real rules. Because I found out there are some monsters out there who, when they play pool, if you get a bowl in and then get the white ball in, they fucking take the bowls out. Like, what? That's not real rules. You hit a ball in and the white ball goes in, you still got the ball in. It stays in. You don't fucking take it back out. Like, that's fucking absurd. It's like, well, where do you put it then? Do you just kind of casually chuck it? Do you put it at the edge? Like, I don't... It's a fucked rule, but apparently some people use that, and I'm like, well, that's not a real rule. It's not, like, actually a rule. You just made it up for some reason. She patiently waits as I get the table set up. After shooting the final ball into the rack and doing some last adjustments... Oh, after slotting. I was gonna say, why the fuck are you shooting it? And doing some last adjustments, I end up having to fight my perfectionist urges in getting the bottom row of balls exactly perpendicular with the edges. With the balls arranged and ready for play, I step back and take my cue from her outstretched arm. I carry out a quick inspection of the tip before I'm satisfied that it's in good condition. Quit talking and start chalking. Get it? Because you chalk the end and then the balls stays. So you've played before? Once or twice. I just kind of know the rules. Yeah, between us feels a little awkward. She's still pretty nervous, understandably, given that we're in public. Eventually the silence becomes too much even for Hanako, and she begins to quietly stammer. Who'll break? I think for a moment before reaching into my pocket and drawing a coin. I'll take heads, your tails. After a note of agreement from Hanako, I flick the coin up in the air, catch it, and flip it over onto the back of my left hand. Looks like it's you that gets to break. Hey, another CG. Billiards. Her scars look more red and intense than usual, in the CG actually. Hanako nods again before taking up her position at the end of the table. She's not usually this quiet around me, but I'm not wholly sure if it's because of the tidbit of information about our past that slipped out moments ago. What? What? What tidbit? What? I don't remember anything like that. Moments ago. What? What tidbit of information about our past slipped out moments ago? The fuck's this out talking about? Does anyone actually know? Because I'm so confused. Maybe that would be better than searching for the main way. What is it? There's nothing. What the fuck is he talking about? Just a few moments ago, he's saying like, "Oh, she's being a bit reserved. It's because she's shy." And then it's like, and then like 5 seconds later, he's like, "Oh, that maybe it's the tidbit about her past that slipped out a moment ago that's making her nervous." Like, what? There was nothing. There was nothing. There wasn't a single tidbit. What are you talking about? What is happening? Was something about, like, I don't know, the draft changed and they kept this line in by accident? I don't fucking know, but this line... No. Unless someone can point it out, I will just say this makes no sense. And I'm right. Someone was right. The cue comes back in a particular gesture before smacking dead into the center of the cue ball with a thud. The white ball skates across the smooth green expanse before smashing into the carefully arranged balls at the other end. Hitting balls! We out here. Balls skitter across the table at high speed. The break was good, with the balls being nicely disturbed around the table. My eyes are always flickering from one to another to pick out the easiest candidates to pocket. You fool. What a fool. She just did a straight break. What a fool. I always do one off the edge. You hit it like, hit it down like there. And then you want it to like hit into like between the one at the very top and the one next to it. You want to like hit in between there. And that way you usually get a pretty good break. You usually get one ball in. And even if you don't, it usually breaks it in such a way that doesn't make it easy for the next person to pocket. Hanako retreats from the side, and I take my shot. Well done. It's only after Hanako says that I realize the ball I was shooting at was sunk. I look at her and notice a small smile on her face. It's nice how playing games seems to loosen her up a bit. Guess I'm stripes then. I take a step back and let her take the next shot, but she doesn't advance to the table. Rather, imagine calling them stripes and not fucking large. I take a step back and let her take the next shot, but she doesn't advance to the table. Rather, she looks down a little and rubs her arm. But now I can identify that this is one of her gestures that means she wants to say something but isn't sure enough of herself to do it. What's up? It's just, you had a nice smile. Do you like playing this? I sigh and lean back against the table. I like playing. Yeah, I think I was smiling because it's really nostalgic though. Hanako tilts her head quizzically. Me and my friends used to play pool in the game centers near where we lived pretty often, and at night too. Wouldn't your parents... My parents both worked, so they didn't mind me not being in the house. I stayed on top of schoolwork pretty easily as well, so there was plenty of time to do other stuff at night. A conversation dies down with Hanako's timidity getting the better of her. In response, I get off the table and let her take her turn shooting. There aren't many solids in easy positions, so Hanako bends down and takes a while to line herself up, probably. Hanako's expression is the same as when we play chess, a relaxed but focused concentration. Athletics sometimes talk about getting into a zone where nothing unnecessary enters their mind, and I wonder if that's something she can do. Her posture is good, better than mine, to be sure. It's very close to a textbook method of playing, whereas I tend to contort myself into whatever position I feel is most natural for the shot I'm taking. She lines up the cue comes back, and she does a couple of practice movements to make sure she's lined up correctly. Hanako takes games so seriously, it's the only real hobby I know she has. Outside of reading, it feels good to be able to share this kind of experience with her. She takes the shot after careful consideration, and the cue ball zooms off towards the ball sitting at a slightly awkward angle near her corner. Hanako's careful preparation pays off as the cue ball hits and sends the ball rolling towards the corner pocket. For a moment, it looks like it'll stop just on the lip of the hole, but it eventually tilts just enough to drop in. Man, that was a hard shot. If you can pull that off, I don't think I have much hope. I'm not that good. It's not just the shot though. Even when lining it up, you looked really serious. You like this with chess too? The praise makes her a little flustered. She sets the cue against the table and stands, turning to me. I just like these kind of things. The fingers are twisting and turning tightly. When I was in the orphanage, I just kept doing the things I liked before. If I played games with the others, there was enough for the helpers there, so... What? She never told me she was in an orphanage, did she? If she did, I don't fucking remember it at all. If I never thought about it that way, staff at an orphanage would naturally want to have everyone socialize at least a little. It's okay for me to ask, what was it like for you at the orphanage? Why do you want to know? It touched a nerve, but the fact that she responded at all shows that there's at least a chance she'll answer the question. Before, she likely would have just shrunk away from it without a word. Oh no. Ooh, that was close. The amount of kilobytes was like going down, 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 and then it was like 2 for a few seconds, and then it was 0 for a few seconds. I was like, oh fucking hell, the stream's gonna die. But then it just recovered. I don't know why it was so bad for so long. Usually the spikes don't last that long unless it's gonna die. I'll tell you, but could you tell me who Hanako is? Hanako? Oh, the letter. I wonder how long she's been waiting for the right opportunity to ask me this. I'm surprised, but don't hesitate. Sharing information is naturally a matter of give and take. She's someone I used to like. The nervousness subsides, at least for the time it took to ask. Her curiosity is getting the better of her, and I feel a bit uncomfortable to be questioned on this, of all matters. Fuck off, you piece of shit. You just asked her about life in a fucking orphanage, and then you're like, oh, but I'm uncomfortable being asked about a girl I used to like. There's no way I could spill out all of my feelings about Iwanako here. I don't even know myself what my feelings regarding her are, even after talking to Yuko earlier, and I want to avoid the subject around Hanako. Hanako doesn't look overly satisfied with the awkward ending to the discussion, but thinks better of continuing it. She was only just managed to ask me in the first place, without knowing that I wouldn't want to talk about it. I moved to finally... Also, that's just a horrible way to end that situation. You know that's going to cause a misunderstanding. I moved to finally take my own shot. The lack of talking between us is filled by the chatter of other patrons and the band at the other end of the club. Also, she didn't answer. She didn't answer the question of Sal or Steve, whatever. Spying a shot that doesn't look too difficult, I try and shoot for it. The cue ball taps the ball and I can speak. And the trajectory is about right. But I put in too much power, it grazes the corner of the hole and moves off to the side, just skirting the pocket. I grit my teeth a little. I was pretty good at this game, and it's frustrating to have deteriorated so much. I step back and let Hanako take her turn, glancing towards the counter while Lily and Akira are sitting. They're talking busily between themselves and seem to be having a good time. Turn back to Hanako as she takes her shot. With the same face as before, she lines herself up and sharply pushes the cue. Wait, sharply? Or was that... Yeah, sharply. Just as before, she sinks the ball she was aiming for. It drops into the side pocket more cleanly than it last, though. Looks as if she's getting a bit more into the groove of the game. Nicely done. She hesitates for a moment and begins to address me without turning her head. Oh, now she answers. The orphanage was nice. Felt a bit like Yamaku does, and the staff was really kind. Whoa, whoa, whoa. But as the years went on, I realized something. I was different. It feels strange to hear her speak so candidly about herself. She's audibly forcing the words out. It reminds me of when she insisted she tell me about the fire. Hanako must feel that she has to tell me of such things if I'm willing to tell her about my own past. Her grip on the cue tightens as she continues to speak. Most of the children there were up for adoption, just like I was. But unlike me, they gradually left, one by one. By the time I went to Yamaku, I was among the oldest children there. They opened her mouth, but they left the fucking scars on, so the scars like on her tongue now. For a while, I helped with some of the younger children, but eventually, I lay a hand on her shoulder. She's forcing herself by now. It's okay. She looks mildly surprised for a moment, but then nods before setting down her cue and turning towards me. Do you really think so? Yeah, I think so. Even while Lily's away, I'll be around to protect you, right? Hanako looks at me for a long time and I'm taken a bit off guard. Her expression hasn't changed from before, still looking somewhat maudlin. Maudlin? Self-pityingly or tearfully sentimental? God, the author really likes to whip out the fucking thesaurus, eh? I think it's the fact that she's holding such prolonged eye contact that make this feel a bit odd. Feels as if she's judging me. It's a very strange, vaguely uncomfortable feeling. Hanako. I understand. Thank you. She smiles and looks away a little, but it feels stilted. Hanako isn't very good at faking emotions, and this is no exception. I move to the table and take my turn to try and distract myself, but it doesn't seem to work. Does she think I'm not up to the task of helping her? Is she disappointed in me? I'm probably overthinking this. While our silences are just an expected fact of life by now, sometimes I do wish she'd speak more. With a thud, I send the white sphere careening down the table into my target. Hanako sees what's happening just as I do. The ball hits hard with the striped ball I'd intended to sink, veering off towards the 8-ball. Sure enough, as both Hanako look on and bite our lips, they connect, and the black ball rolls leisurely into a corner pocket. All I can do is sigh. Looks like Hanako is smiling again though, so maybe it wasn't all naught. Oh, that was an awful shot. You win. Seems I'm getting pretty rusty after all this time. I also haven't played real life billiards in a long time. I used to play it all the time. When I was in uni, I'd play it a lot. I've talked before how there was that group of me, two friends, and 3 Asian girls, and we'd often hang out together a lot. We'd play billiards a lot as well. And so I used to play it a lot, but I haven't played it in real life like maybe for two or 3 years now. It's been quite a while. Hanako bends down and begins to shoot the remaining balls into the closest pockets. I almost ask if we could play another game, but a quick check of my watch confirms that the night is getting pretty late. Pretty late? How long were they planning on staying here? The billiards game doesn't take that long, and it ended early because he hit a black ball in. He hit the air ball in. What? What? How long are they really gonna stay for this short? Lily and Akira appear to be still drinking at the corner. Seems like we'll have to drag them away. Sao. Turn back to Hanako, who's still looking over the pool table shooting balls. Her voice sounds different from before. I'm here for you as well. Suddenly find myself blushing. It's only natural that she'd respond this way, given what I said earlier, but it's still a shock to actually hear it. Just what is my relationship with this girl? I want to protect her, to make her happy? I'm not really sure that it's something like love, but I don't think these are the same kind of feelings I have for Lily either. I feel sorry for her, having gone through so much in her life. Her parents died in a house fire, and she lived in an orphanage for much of her childhood. Can't even imagine that kind of life. But I feel like there's so little I can do for her, especially now that Lily is going to be leaving the country. Hanako and I finish tidying up the table and cues and pick up Lily and Akira on our way out of the club. Feels like something changed between Hanako and me. Can't quite place what it is, but Hanako is acting differently now. I feel like we're further apart, if anything. Further apart? Whew. Went to 0 for multiple seconds again. Why is it doing that? I'm using fucking 1400 kilobytes. God damn it. Shouldn't be struggling so often. Someone else in the house must be doing something intensive with the internet. It's the only reason I can think of. So, you enjoy yourselves? Hanako and I both nod and agree. The game was good and we both did learn more about each other, so it's an honest answer. Lily appears to be a little distracted. Worried about the trip, Lily? She pauses before sighing and smiling weakly. A little means quite a bit. Comment earns her a clap on the shoulder from her sister. Hanako smiles back too. You'll be okay, Lily. I hope you can enjoy your time over there. Thank you, Hanako. I'll try to. It'll be nice to be back with my family after all, no matter for how brief a time it may be. With that, the four of us begin the walk to the car park where Akira's car is. We continue to talk between ourselves, but it's mostly just small talk. I need to take a short break real quick. Just to kind of stand up and stretch kind of one. Whoa. There we go. Just gonna take a moment. It's been an hour, so I mean I took a moment before to get pills, but just gonna take one. Alright. Whew, that was close. Keeps doing that. That's weird. Maybe I shouldn't. We'll see. Right then, are you taking the bus, Lily? Lily motions to a large suitcase standing beside her. I'll have to take this with me, so I've booked a taxi. Stop doing that, OBS. I guess it's more my internet's fault. OBS is just telling me the truth. So I've booked a taxi. I'll meet us at the school gates in about 5 minutes. I see. Lee reaches down and feels out the handle of her suitcase. Its weight causes her some difficulty, but I quickly offer to take it myself. That is awfully kind of you, Hisao. She has no qualms about accepting it, and I end up picking it up. It's not what I'd call light, but it's not exactly heavy either. I don't think I'll have too much trouble carrying it. Well, thank you then. We should hurry though. If the taxi leaves, then it'll take quite a while to book a new one. Are you ready, Hanako? Yeah, let's go. We rush to the gate as fast as we can, only to find that the taxi has yet to arrive. Oh, nothing like a bit of exercise in the morning. Nurse told me that I should be doing that. I think you probably had other things in mind, Hisao, and probably with more regularity. Do you intend to be helping people with their luggage every day? Guess not. Looks like we've got a bit to wait anyway. How long should we wait for a taxi before calling them again? I would say another 10 minutes, but they've never let me down before. It's probably just a little traffic. Okay then. Get a taxi. Just call Uber, guys. Come on. Just call Uber in 2012. That's when this game came out. So how long is the flight to Scotland? About 16 hours, if I remember correctly. It's a bit hard to tell with the changing time zones. 16 hours. 16 hours? Fuck. That's long. I've had longer flights than that, but fuck, 16 hours. Have I? Wait, maybe I have. I've never had 16 hours in a single flight, but I have had a flight, 1 hour layover, and then another flight, which all up added up to 24 hours. So across 24 hours, I spent 23 hours in a plane with only a 1 hour break in between them. That's how long it takes to get to fucking Ireland from Australia. It fucking sucks. It's basically the other side of the world, as far as Australia is concerned. So long. It's now that I realize Hanako has been unusually quiet, even for her. She doesn't handle stress well, so she's looking really uptight. Yeah, I can't imagine being on a plane for that long. I've only ever flown on a short family holiday up north, so it really is quite hard to fathom. If Hanako has spent so much of her childhood at an orphanage, she's probably travelled very little, let alone flown. It's not too bad. I spend most of it either asleep or catching up on my English. I hardly use that here, so I need to refamiliarize myself with it a little. Will your accent be a problem? I wouldn't worry about that too much. Maybe an issue initially, but I should be fine once I get used to it. You'll move to sit down on the small bench beside the school gate in silence. Strangely enough, even though I know that Lily is going away, I can't think of anything to say to her. Lily is a reliable person, so it may be because she isn't the one that I'm thinking of most. Lily might not be able to see it, but Hanako is chewing her fingernails nervously. I move to talk to her, but can hear an engine starting up. But can hear an engine straining up the hill before I get the chance. I think the taxi is on its way. Well spotted, Hisao. I only just heard it as well. A small wave of pride washes over me. To have noticed something at the same time as Lily must mean that I've become more and more aware of my surroundings. Anyway, we went to call the taxi company. No worry about missing Lily's plane. Once the taxi stops where we're standing, the driver rolls down the window and leans over. After confirming that, yes, Lily is the same Lily Satao that booked the trip, we sort out our luggage. Hey, Ira. Hey, Toast. Hey, Ray. Hey, the Baronade. Third boss of the... Is that the legendary Baronade? Third boss of Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time? It's an honor to meet you, celebrity. Why, yes it is. The Baronade himself. From inside Jabba Jabba. I was tired of being a boss, so I made a Twitch channel. Nah! What's happening to my internet? What the fuck? It just shut itself for like a good few seconds there. Oh well. It fixed itself. Damn. 3 people here now. Is Reimu even still here? Oh, stream lag. Celebrity bosses. Yeah, that was weird. The stream lagged for like 5 seconds, but it's fine now. Once the taxi stops where we're standing, the driver... Right, I read all that. The driver opens the trunk of the taxi and takes Lily's suitcase, with Lily climbing into the back seat as he loads it onto the trunk and slams it shut. After getting back into his seat and shutting the doors, he waits for us to say our farewells. What the hell is that? Oh, now I see it. It's just... I presume Destiny shit. What is that? Limited time only emote. Doge. Nice. Have a safe trip, Lily. Take care of yourself. Hanako looks understandably downcast, and that much is obvious even in her voice. Of course I will. I'll be back before long. Don't worry. There will still be another person here for you too. Won't there, Hasao? Getting cold out? Yeah, of course. Turn and smile to Hanako, putting my hand on her shoulder. She only manages to keep eye contact with me for a couple of seconds, her cheeks red all the while, before turning back to Lily. See you, Lily. I read that in Hanako's voice, fucking it. Whatever. Goodbye. Lily gives her farewells to the both of us with a fair measure of reluctance. Without further ado, the driver starts the engine once more, and they begin the journey down the hill and towards the airport. 2 of us stand at the gate for a long time after they've disappeared from sight, not really knowing what to do. So, what do you want to do? I don't know. Oh shit! Sabe for choice. Do you want to go in the city? How about we call it a day? Ooh. I feel like this is a choice that'll have ramifications. When is the Katawa Shoujo any % speedrun? Commentated by Aira_999. Oh no, right, 99, not 999. No, that would be 4 nines. Aira99 subscribers will any % speedrun Katawa Shoujo? Never, probably. Because speedrunning vision novels is bullshit. It's only not bullshit when you're doing something that requires... Using save states, what a cheater! Oh my god! Oh my god! Yeah, I am. This is vision novels. This is vision novels. You save before choices. That's the norm. Everyone knows that. Everybody knows that. Error _9999. Yep. Actually, do we still have... Do we still have Project Waifu? Does that still exist as a document on Google Drive? Because if Project Waifu does, there's a really long Aira99 thing there. Where would it be? shared with me, maybe? I search waifu, the only thing that comes up is super mega hyper. What is this? I don't even. Nice. Okay, Project Waifu is not there, but that had like a crazy like A-red underscore 9999 underscore, and like different versions of them were spelled out, and sometimes it was the actual letter or number or underscore. It's fucking dumb. I wanted to see what that was, but it looks like Project Waifu at least isn't in my drive anymore. I don't know if someone else has it. One of you guys has it still. That's what it was called, right? Project Waifu? That dumb visual novel we spent like one day talking about and never again. I don't know what to pick here though with Hanako, because like going in the city is like us doing a thing, but like calling it a day is like I feel like maybe she doesn't want to go into the city, but if I ask her, she'll feel pressured to go, and then she'll go, and then something bad might happen. The actual letter, yeah, I meant actual number or underscore, but I said letter instead. So then I had to also then say or the underscore. Yeah. That was from a long time ago though. That was high school days. Go into the city, get in there. I don't know. Well, I'm gonna show it all eventually, so sure, why not? Go into the city. The bus stop, standing by the school gates, looks like a mute's. What? Looks like a mute sentinel. Puts a strange idea in my mind. Do you want to head into town and look for a bookshop or something? We have the rest of the day free. It's a long shot, as Hanako doesn't like going into the city. I count the fact that we managed to get her out there even when it was so dark as a small miracle, but I genuinely want to spend more time with her. Anyway, she's likely to just refuse and go back to... Okay. Really? Really? Let's go. I can't work out why Hanako has decided to agree with me, but I'm not able to ask her to change her mind. What happens if I call it a day? Do we just not get the scene? I guess so. Stepping off the bus, I immediately noticed that a lot of people are around us. In hindsight, it should have been obvious. Of course, lots of people will be downtown on a Saturday afternoon. Hanako retreats close to my side, and I can feel her hand clutching my arm tightly. Her body is held against mine, and her head is bowed so low that her hat hides most of her scarring. So, where shall we go? A bookshop? Hanako's Hanako's present and my other general living expenses here. What? My general living expenses have pretty much drained my budget, but I should be able to afford a few books. There's something I try to reserve a few funds for anyway. For a second, I think Hanako didn't hear me, but then I looked to my side and noticed her nodding almost in words. Okay. Do you know of one? Actually, I do. We passed a few when Lily and I were looking for your presents. Hanako's expression clouds a fraction. I've got to remember to stop bringing up her birthday. You both spent a lot of time? Or maybe I misjudged the situation. We wanted to make sure we got the right present after all. Hanako smiles and blushes a little bit. It's a small treasure when she does. Anyway, there should be a bookshop just up ahead. Do you want to check it out? Sure. The crowd starts to build as we head towards the bookshop along the raised walkways. Hanako latches her other arm onto me as well, making our progress a little slower. As we walk, the sound of the traffic makes me think of a possible distraction for her. I was wondering, Hanako, have you thought yet about when you're gonna learn to drive? Bleh. I fucked that up too many times. Driving? Yeah, you're kind of lucky in a way. There aren't a whole lot of students in Yamaku that are allowed to drive. It's not the best topic of conversation, but I want to try and distract Hanako from the situation. She's really high-strung right now. Then again, all I've really done is make her feel awkward, since she's probably never thought about it. I wish I hadn't said anything. Before long, we are before one of the bookshops Lily and I passed by during our search. What kind of self-respecting bookstore closes on Saturdays? Bookshops don't make much money anymore because of the internet. Maybe they just had to close over weekends. Seems pretty knowledgeable about technology. I guess it's a pursuit that would lead itself well to someone who enjoys solitude. What is with Sao and knowing fucking nothing? He's like so easily impressed. Like Hanako just had spices and then he's like, whoa, spices, that's pretty advanced cooking. When it's like, no, it's normal. And it's like, whoa, she knows about the internet. Pretty knowledgeable about technology, this one. She knows the internet exists in 2012, which is when this game came out. What? Sal. That she didn't seem that knowledgeable at all. She's just like, oh, they're closed because of the internet. It's like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Doesn't everyone know that? I guess that makes sense. It's easier to find books online. Anyway, it looks like this idea is shot. Anything else you'd like to do? If it's not a bother, could you show me where you brought my present? Oh shit, we're going back to the antique store, boys. Sure, not a problem. It's not far from here. Head off in the direction of the store, only half sure of its exact location. I don't want a repeat of the last time, spending half the day walking around aimlessly. Here we are, Othello's Antiques. It's small. Oh yes, it took Lily and me some time to find it. Can we go in? I don't see why not. It's open. Hanako pushes through the door and enters before me. Once again, the store is empty, save for the store owner. His face drops a little when he sees me. Oh, you're not here for a return, are you? Wait, that's not the girl you had with you last time? No, we're not here to return anything. We were just in town and wanted to have another look in here. Store owner considers this for quite a long time. I guess he's not used to high school students coming to his shop on a regular basis. Might this be the friend you bought gifts for? That's right, they were presents for her. Store owner turns to Hanako, who freezes on the spot like a deer caught in a headlight. She really does look like one there. He moves to address her, but stops before doing so, looking a little taken aback. Catches himself staring and looks to the side, addressing us indirectly. His expression is awkward and intense, as if his entire body. I wouldn't be mad at him, but I know full well that I had the same instinctive reaction when I first saw her. First surprise, then curiosity, then an awkward look away as I dealt with what I'd seen. Hanako looks less panicked than before, but I think the feeling she's giving off now is worse. It's not anger nor annoyance. If anything, it's one of apology. You're what? Why can't I say you're lucky there, young. What is happening to my voice? My brain is I'm having a stroke. You're lucky there. What? You're lucky there, young lady. Okay, fuck. I said the sentence. My God. To have friends that care about you as much as they do. What happened there? Oh my God. Oh, I'm breaking down. Thank you. If I hadn't spent so much time with Hanako, I wouldn't even have realized that she said anything. Then again, the store owner's mumble was hardly clear either, thanks in part to being directed away from us. Hanako strikes out into the store, gazing in wonder at the various items on displays. She finds the dolls section and starts... Oh, what? Oh. And spends lingering minutes studying each and every one. The side of Hanako I've only barely been introduced to. I was astonished when Lily said she liked dolls, and even more so to find out her collection sitting on her dresser. She looks a little better now that she's distracted and out of the store and sight, but I'm still quite put off by the whole experience. I might have my own problems, but I've never had strangers react to me like that, as if I was something completely alien to them. This is a nice shop. Yeah, it's not what I expected. Do you want to buy something? I didn't bring any money. Well, we can always come again. Now that I know where to find it, that is. We can? Of course, we can come here as often as you'd like. We can go on dates. Thank you. You didn't need to thank me. I almost forgot where this place was. I I don't really think either of us completely believes in what we're saying, but rather we're just repeating what we think we should say. Can we go back to the school now? Sure thing, let's go. As we leave for the bus stop, I see the store and I peek through the curtain at the back of the shop. I'm not really sure what that glance he gives to us says. Feels a bit weird, and the fact that Hanako didn't see it is both a relief and a bit frustrating. I wonder if there's something up with him. I did think it was weird that he has a portrait. Like a character portrait when he talks. I don't know. Maybe there's something going on with him. Between him and Hanako. I don't know, but I don't know. It feels like there's maybe something to brew in there. Hanako and I stopped walking once we reached the concrete area between the dormitory buildings. There was barely a word said between us on the way back from the city. Well then, goodbye. Do you want to have some tea or something? How about a game? Hanako shakes her head embarrassedly. I'm tired. Maybe later. I've got homework. She sounds a little depressed. Hanako obviously does want to do more, but I suppose she would have a bit of schoolwork to catch up on. She's missed a few days of lessons. Homework. Thanks for reminding me. I've got a stack to do as well. I guess I'll see you tomorrow. See ya, Sao. Before I can say goodbye, Hanako has turned and begun walking towards the entrance to the female dormitory building. I look at the door she disappeared through for a bit before going off towards my own dorms. Today was a tiring day. Oh, right. On to Act 4. I woke up, took my pills, had a nice shower, quickly slipped on my uniform, ate a tasty breakfast, grabbed my bag, and headed off, all as per my usual daily routine. It was only after arriving in class that the normality of the day was thrown off. After taking my seat, I watched my classmates trickle into the room over the next hour, until every empty seat was eventually taken other than Hanako's. I never get used to the idea that she just doesn't show up to class every now and again. It feels all the more worrying now as well, given that Lily's left. As Muto continues to drone on, I find my gaze flickering every so often over to her seat, as if she might appear there any moment now. Nobody else seems to care at all about her absence, but they have little reason to. Not now. Hanako being absent from class, after all, is perfectly normal, or at least it was. Her attendance hasn't been all that bad from what I've seen in my time here, but it was apparently much more spotty beforehand. This is also an ominous time for her to be gone. It's the day before her birthday, and my suspicions are starting to rise, after the breakdown she had in class when it was mentioned. An increasing amount of my thought is taken up by how I can help her, but in the end, I feel like I can't do anything. The bell heralding the beginning of lunchtime rings out, shaking me out of my thoughts. A collective sigh of relief can be heard from the class, though Muto looks quite put off. He dislikes being interrupted in the middle of his exciting lectures, after all. Just when I'm wondering what I should do on lunch break, given that Hanako and Lily aren't here, the solution presents itself. Afternoon, Hik-chan. It's the dynamic duo. Afternoon, Misha, Shizune. You both look as bright as ever. Shik-chan wants to know if you'd like to have lunch with us today. Sure, it'd be good to have some company. Oh man. The cafeteria hums with activity, much like my old schools did. Yamaku is different, though, in how strangely civilized the lunchtime rushes. What one would expect to be an unruly mob chomping at the bit to get to the serving area is, rather, a neat and organized line. Also, now that we're in Act 4, I need to just double check. Okay, yes, disable adult content. Because we still haven't seen the Hanako H scene, and I know there's one. I don't want it to accidentally pop up and I get fucking banned. There's a small amount of jostling, and people's heads are often craning around to check on what's happening up ahead, but it's pretty subdued. This is due, no doubt, to the very serious rules regarding such matters in the school. The same strict discipline is observed when students move in the hallways, or come to and from their dormitories in the school gate. Yeah, except for Emmy, who fucking ran right into me one time. Well, the reason for it may be slightly off-putting. I've come to quite like this sense of order that's enforced in the school. I didn't like being told by Shizune and Misha to get their lunches, though. I feel a little used as I take a seat at the table where they're sitting, plunking their food down in front of them. Sweet bread and strawberry milk for Misha, a bowl of ramen and juice for Shizune. I heave a sigh of relief as I put it all down, after the significant difficulty I had carrying it all, in addition to my own lunch. Thank you. Misha claps her hands together before popping open the wrapper and digging into her bread ravenously. Shizune simply gives an appreciative nod before giving her steaming ramen a stir and blowing on it a little to cool it down. I open my own lunch, another packet of sweet bread, and take a bite before washing it down with some juice. The bread is very sweet, so much so that I end up forcing myself to stomach it just to get the experience over with. Midway through, I decide to take a break from the difficult task and ask what's going on. Wait, what? And ask what's on my mind. So I'm guessing you two had a reason to drag me down here. You two seem to always have an ulterior motive after all. What are you saying, Fifth Fan? we won't have an ulterior motive. I can't Her mouth is full of sweet bread as she speaks. It's a pretty unpleasant sight. Shizune looks a little grossed out before going back to eating her ramen. I wait until Misha swallows what she had in her mouth before speaking again. You're not buttering me up to make me work with you after school. Nope. Not trying to extract information from me that I might not want to give. Nuh-uh. Fine, you win. I guess you just wanted to eat lunch with someone as intelligent and handsome as me, then. That's it, Hick-chan, you got it. Shizune looks unimpressed as Misha finger signs our conversation and sucks out the last of a long noodle as she signs her own thoughts. Shik-chan said you shouldn't be so suspicious of us. She's just doing her duty as a class representative, after all. How is she, are you doing that? As much as I hate to admit it, it looks as if I still have trouble communicating with Shizune. It should be a simple matter of keeping eye contact with her and addressing Shizune instead of Misha in my speech. But when somebody else is doing the talking for her, it's a surprisingly difficult task. It's the class representative's job to ensure everyone is doing alright in class, isn't it? Not really. Wait, how is me making me get your food ensuring that I'm going well in class? Shizune huffs and adjusts her glasses disapprovingly. So this is the thanks we get for giving you companionship during lunchtime. That's a total dodge of the question. Wait, hang on. How did you know that I... Oh, whoa. Liz away and Hanako is absent, and since those two are the only people you hang around with... You also made it kind of obvious to see. Ouch. I may well have done so, but she didn't need to rub it in. Maybe there's a payback for before. Right, well, thanks. I appreciate it. And that isn't sarcasm. The two nod and we get back to finishing our meals. It feels a little embarrassing to be accompanied just because they noticed I was lonely. But it isn't as if they're strangers either. It isn't long before I finish the last of my bread and start on the last of my juice, and as I do so, I find my mind wandering back to what I've been thinking about before the two interrupted my train of thought. It feels like I'm the only one in class that has so much as acknowledges Hanako not being there. It felt like this the other time she skipped... It felt like this the other times she skipped class, but now it's even more actually... What? But now it's even more... Oh, now it's even more acutely annoying. For some reason I read that as actually. Does nobody care if she's happy or not? Have they just written off any possibility of hoping to make her better? Even Muto doesn't try to keep her in class, and I'm still not wholly convinced by his reasoning. Hey Hick-chan, is your juice past its expiry date? What? You're pulling away the face, like this. As if it were needed, Misha minces my own expressions. Misha mimics my own expression. Her exaggeration makes me grimace, though. She doesn't at least take some amusement from it. I was just thinking about Hanako. Oh. Misha's interest is piqued, and so is Shizune's. Piqued! Once my words are interpreted for her. I'm just worried about her being absent so often, especially now, though, what with her birthday coming around. The memories of that incident in class are still fresh in their minds. Their faces alone are telling that much. Do you know anything about Hanako? Anything that might help? Misha shrugs and looks to Shizune, who mulls on this for a while. The only people she's ever talked to for more than a sentence or two are you and Lily. Shizune may not be able to convey Lily's name in a derisive tone of speech, but I feel as if it comes through in her sign language. The effect is lost, however, after Misha's interpretation. There are a couple of things we know about Hanako as student council members, thanks to the records that pass through our hands, but we can't say anything about what's in them. Understandable. It sounds a lot like the nurse's patient confidentiality. Every time I find someone that knows something about Hanako's past, it turns up being a dead end. The only way I'll ever find out is by asking her. I don't know if she'll let me know such things, but if it's for her sake, I have to at least try. Don't worry about it, Hikchan. It happens every year, after all. That doesn't remove any sense of worry at all. I still feel a little at fault for what happened in class, but this feels like it goes further, even without their confirmation of that fact. Misha notes my troubled expression, her own usually happy and reassuring face dropping. Everyone has problems they have to deal with, right, Hikchan? Yeah, I just wish I could help Hanako more with hers. With that, the conversation trails off on a depressing note. Eventually, Misha manages to pick the mood back up through her usual bright and bumbly antics, but my mind remains focused on Hanako. I'll go check on her later. Alright, I need to go refill my water. I'll be right back. Hey everybody, I'm back. Alright. I make sure the door is locked after dropping off my school bag. The dorms are quiet, which kept me occupied longer than I expected, discussing my studies after class, ending and pressing on me some worksheets to give to Hanako, almost as an afterthought. Absorbed in thought, I'm late in registering the shadow that appears in front of me. Looking out reveals the owner of said shadow. Here he is! Man himself! Kenji, we're out! Hey man, haven't seen you in a while. Oh, hi. What's with that response? My absent-minded greeting visibly annoys him. I'd probably have had the same reaction. Sorry, just thinking about a lot of stuff. Thinking is a pretty poor excuse to not be aiding the war effort. And how goes the war? I am preparing. Right now I need money to help with those preparations. If you want me to loan you money, just say it. No man, I'm good. You're good? You don't want my money? Hey man, don't look so surprised. It's insulting. I'm pretty big in the competitive bowling scene, but yesterday I found some guys who didn't know that. I'm fairly sure that betting would be against the school rules. School rules don't matter. This is a war situation. People these days, they have no appreciation for what war means. So what do you need? What do you need this money for? Dare I ask? Non-perishable canned foods, building materials, mostly corrugated iron and wood panels, first aid kit, camper heater, portable radio, sleeping bag, flashlight, mechanical clock. At first it strikes me as a rather random assortment of objects and materials, but after a few seconds it clicks. Isn't that a list of materials for a fallout shelter? Ah, so you've read a Protect and Survive booklet. It's good to see someone who's knowledgeable about how to protect themselves. You don't seriously think it's a non-zero possibility? No, I'm pretty sure there's zero possibility of that ever happening. You slowly and dramatically raise an eyebrow. Well, as dramatically as one can raise an eyebrow. The chance is, I don't know, 0.1 to the trillionth place. It's infinitesimal. Besides, where can you build a fallout shelter anyway? Certainly not on campus. It's my summer holiday project while I'm at home. My dad said I can do it. Really? Yeah, he thought it'll improve my crafting skill and manual dexterity or something. Knowing Kenji, his dad probably just thought it might keep him out of his hair for a while. Still, it does make me wonder what his parents are like. Maybe they're totally normal, and Kenji is just an... On the other hand, maybe this kind of paranoia and fearful survivalism runs in the family. Hey, you want to help me build it? You look like the type to be handy with tools. If I had your help, we could make a really badass bunker instead of just a fallout shelter. I doubt that. Playing soccer before my accident gave me good footwork, but I've never really tried my hand at anything approaching real handiwork. I'm not really. I'm busy over the holidays anyway, I'm afraid. Shame. If the feminists ever get a hold of the lunch codes, I fear... What? Oh, the launch codes. I fear that so few will be prepared. And your fallout shelter would protect you from a nuclear bomb explosion? In that case, then that does happen. A fallout shelter isn't meant to protect against the blast. That's what a blast shelter is for. I thought you knew better. My mistake. Home is pretty far away from any major military sites, so the fallout blowing a nuclear exchange is a bigger concern than the blast itself. What this will do is keep the dust and other particles away from me, my food supply, and my sleeping area. It's gonna last me at least 14 days though. 14 days is a pretty long time. It is. I need 1 liter of water a day for drinking, 2 optimally, so that I can wash as well. Toiletry is easy though, just garbage bags and a bin placed outside of the shelter area. Food means canned supplies, of course. Of course, and the radios for outside communication. Right, so I can pick up government alerts on what's going on outside. I need a mechanical clock rather than an electric one, in case the electromagnetic pulse from a nuclear airburst fries it too. Yep. Could be, what's that code? EMP? or something. Yeah. There's all the other stuff I need as well, like extra clothing, matches, and candles. I think I still have time to gather it all, though. Maybe. As much as I hate to say it, I'm a little impressed. He's really researched this and thought it through. Then again, I don't know if I want to live in a post-apocalyptic world with only people like Kenji having survived. That's true. If any of this crazy shit actually goes down, it's gonna be all the wackos who actually prepare for this crap that are left. It's like, goddamn. It's nothing but these fucking weirdos. It sounds like you really know what you're doing. Damn right I do. Must be hard living in constant fear like this. He hardly ever socializes either, so the fact that he went bowling with others is in itself something of a surprise. Yeah, I was surprised by that too. This mentality reminds me a little of a certain someone. Thankfully, her fear of others doesn't manifest in such a distinctly eccentric way. One thing I know for sure is that I certainly can't tell him exactly why I haven't been hanging around with him so much recently. It's late. I have stuff to do. I'll think about making a fallout shelter or something though. Yeah, right. That's cool. Man has to do what he's got to do after all. You should hang out with me sometimes, by the way. You're a cool dude. Cool dudes should hang out together, right? Hell yeah, man. Cool dudes just hanging out. For some reason, that compliment actually feels kind of nice. The situation with Hanako being what it is, though, means that I probably won't be able to fulfill his request. For now, at least. That'd be good. I'll talk to you later about it when I can. Cool. Later, dude. He retreats to his dormitory room. It's kind of crisp. Kind of crisp water sounds. Could have been better. Water's still nice and cool though. Water I had before had already dropped to room temperature. I had better go see Hanako. Stand outside of the door to Hanako's room, hoping that she isn't in too much of a state as I nervously clutch the worksheets Muto asked me to pass on to her. It's one more reason to visit her, and it gives me something to talk about, so I suppose I should be thankful to him for giving me the task. With a long breath to steady myself, I rack my knuckles on the door in front of me. Silence. I listened intently for any sound of shuffling coming from inside, but I can't hear a thing. I knock on the door again, slightly harder, still no answer. How strange. Scratching my head, I make one last attempt at getting her to answer as I knock on the door one final time. Hanako, it's just me. I just had to give you some stuff. For a while, the attempt seems just as unsuccessful as the last. Just before I slip the sheets under her door, though, I hear the handle rattling. As the door opens halfway, I quickly try to see how Hanako's faring. It's a task made somewhat more difficult by her oversound gown hiding so much of her body. She doesn't look sad, or at least not immediately so. To be honest, I'd have preferred that to her expression right now. She looks terribly tired, and appears to be barely acknowledging my presence. Hi, Hanako. Muda wanted me to give you these since you weren't in class today. I held out the loose sheets, which she tentatively takes in her hand. The way she moves is devoid of thought. Her posture is slumped in an unusual manner for someone that's so often tense and wound up. Even her eyes keep looking away from mine, doing their best to avoid eye contact. I move my head a little to try and get a better look, but she just ends up turning away. Are you okay? If you're feeling sick or anything, I could go get the nurse. I must feel pitiful to put on such a routine get-well-soon act. Can't think of anything else I could possibly do for her, though. She seems to collect herself a little at the notion, but only a little. Her head remains turned away, and her eyes move towards me. I'm fine. An awkward silence follows. As it lingers, I notice that the sleeves and the cuffs of her gown bear slightly damp stains. Her cheeks are a bit red, too. Has she been crying? I see. I hesitated a little before coming out with the words I really came here to say. Would you like me to stay? I don't have anything urgent to do at the moment, so it wouldn't be any trouble. Her eyes slide away from me, and I lose any hope for an improvement of her mood. I wait for a response, but she doesn't say anything, nor give any kind of gesture. She just stands there looking away from me. Hanako? She slowly shakes her head. Okay, good night then. With that, Hanako steps back and closes her door without a second word. Well, then, a little worried, I retreat back to my room. Wandering up the hallway, I keep mulling over what happened. It felt like Hanako was only half there, as if I was interacting with a robot that was just doing what it was programmed to do without any real thought. She was a husk of a person. This is frustrating. I'd hoped that meeting Hanako would help the situation, but I feel like it's only made it harder to understand her. How am I supposed to try and help her when she quite literally shuts me out like that? I don't even bother to turn on the light, opting instead of simply change into my pajamas, quickly choke down my evening pills, and collapse onto my bed. Is it raining outside? I think it is. Once again, Hanako doesn't turn up for class. Try as I might to concentrate on other matters, this fact continues to distract me throughout the entire school day, and even as I walk through the school gardens to the dormitories. I don't think today being her birthday is a coincidence either. I don't know the link between the two events though, nor do I have any idea on what she's feeling. Were it physical pain, I could at least provide some limited comfort. With something like this though, I have no idea where to start. I run the people I know through my head, thinking about whether they could help. Shizuna and Misha don't know much about Hanako, and what little they do know, they can't tell me. Same for the nurse. In the end, there's only one person that knows Hanako well enough to be willing to tell me anything. He's gonna call Lily? Entering my dormitory room, I notice something that takes me off guard. It's starting to feel familiar. With everything that's going on around me, I'm thankful that this room's starting to finally be somewhere I can relax a little. When it first entered Yamaku, it felt immediately foreign in every way, from the untouched neatness to the way it smelled. Focusing back on the task at hand, I throw my bag under the bed as I open the top drawer of my desk. Before she left, Lily told me the number to call her on while in Scotland, and I wrote it down. In hindsight, I wonder if she knew something like this could happen. Probably. Lily probably did know that something like this was going to happen. Holy fuck, the music's getting loud. Chill music. Now that she's out of reach, I realize just how much both Hanako and I had relied on her for guidance. I dig around drawer after drawer looking for the damned piece of paper. Eventually, thankfully, I find it nestled under a borrowed library book. I probably should have entered it directly into my cell phone, come to think of it. Without further ado, I enter the number and anxiously press the call button. Eventually the phone picks up, a feminine voice I don't recognize on the other end. It's probably Lily's mother. Sato? What? English? Suddenly finding myself unprepared, I realize I can't understand a word she says, either due to my limited vocabulary or her heavy accent. Should have anticipated this, since according to Lily, her mother is a native Scot. I showed her on in the hope that she might know some Japanese, considering it's her daughter's native language. It's a sound, a guy speaking. The enthusiastic sound of realization can be heard as she recognizes the language. My feeling of relief is immense. You must be one of Lily's friends from school, correct? Even so, her accent means I have to concentrate to work out what she's saying. Yeah, that's right. Pleased to speak to you, Miss Sato. Sato? It's so nice of her to find someone so polite. Lily, dear, it's for you. Mother seems nice, if a little over-enthusiastic, given the mundane situation. There's a small silence as Lily takes her time getting to the phone. In the distance, I can just make out her mother scolding her playfully for just getting up. Hello? Lily speaking. You sound awful. She makes it sound somewhere between a dying animal and a yawn. The one thing I did remember to check before calling was the time zone. It'd be pretty late in the morning over there, so she really has no excuse. Not feeling well? Just tired. What time is it there? Late afternoon. School finished for the day not long ago. Hanako's not well, is she? That was quick. My assumption that she must have known something like this could happen seems to have been on the mark. How did you know? Because today's her birthday. I'd hoped she might have gotten at least a little better after coming to know you, but How is she right now? She missed school today and yesterday. I still have to check up. I still have to check up on her today. To be honest, after seeing how she was when I talked to her yesterday, I'm pretty anxious. I really have no idea what to make of it. Has this happened in the past? Is it related to her scarring in some way? Unfortunately so. Roughly the same thing happened last year when her birthday came up. As far as I can tell, it's because her parents died in an accident that caused her scarring, and Hanako blames herself for their deaths. What she says does seem to make sense. If she's blaming herself on her birthday, she may well be ruining that she was ever born. Hanako had mentioned her stay in the orphanage to me. Maybe I should take some... What? Maybe I should take some heart that she trusts me enough to tell me such a thing. Lily seeming so in the dark about it, though, almost to an extent that I am, is a surprise. So that's why she lives in the student dormitories as well? Has she told you any more about the accident? As close as we've come, she's very barely told me anything about what happened. What I know about it is largely conjecture. She sounds depressed, almost defeated. Considering the trauma Hanako must have gone through, I really can't fault Lily for not knowing. Nevertheless, she still seems to consider it a personal failing. Don't blame yourself, Lily. With everything she's gone through... There's a long silence from the other end of the line. I begin to wonder if the call cut out before the voice on the other end speaks once more. There is another person, though, that has been a subject of worry for me as of late. Oh? I run through the people she could be talking about in my head. The only friends she seems to keep very close are Hanako and me, though there is Akira as well. That person is you, Hisao. There's another silence on the line, but this time it's caused by me. Making others worry about me is something I've very actively tried to avoid since coming to Yamaku. Indeed, even my interactions with Hanako has helped stave off any major health problems thanks to our relaxed and slow-paced lives. What is there to worry about over me? I apologize. I didn't mean any offense. Sorry, I was taken a bit off guard. Still, isn't Hanako a bigger problem at the moment? For some reason now, I thought that the both of you may be feeding into each other's more worrying habits. I tried to amend this before leaving, but it seems to have done little. Worrying habits? Whoa. Worrying habits. When I asked you about what you had in mind for the future, your answer was very similar to what Hanako has said in the past when that question was posed to her. It is well and good to want to protect her, but I fear that treating Hanako like this, as if she were a daughter or someone in need of special care, is only going to achieve the opposite. The situation got effectively turned on its head after everything that's happened. This is the first time I find myself doubting Lily's judgment. Oh man. This is definitely a decisive choice. I'd agree with Lily here, honestly. In this situation in reality. I don't want to admit it, but she has a point. Something else bugs me, though. And you tried to amend this? Wait, are we adding into the city? Quite astute. I thought that it might help if I dragged both of you out of Yamaku and into the wider world. I am thankful you became closer for it, though. So she noticed that. I suppose she may well have been paying attention to us, and her hearing's incredibly good. Quite likely good enough to have picked up what we were talking about if she tried. That sounds more and more like you were manipulating us. Silence. It's a harsh way of putting it, but I have no intention of stepping back from those words. I'm sorry. I was just worried about you. It's fine. I guess there are more important things anyway. It's not a total surprise that she'd do such a thing. Her motherly nature can be slightly overbearing at times, but she does have the best of intentions. So you think I should think about myself more instead of trying to cater to Hanako? That largely sums it up. Again, I'm sorry for not telling you this in a clearer way before going behind your back. I know I am at least as guilty of being overprotective of Hanako as you, but I fear that you are neglecting yourself in your efforts to give Hanako happiness. Do you really think Hanako will be okay? She isn't as fragile as you think. I don't know exactly what experiences she's lived through, or what feelings she has in her mind, but she has managed to work her way through them until now. It's also my hope that gives her a little space will allow her to decide what she truly wants for herself and give her the intuition to reach it. Please have faith in Hanako, that's all I ask. I guess I'll think about it for a while. That's good. Being rash won't get you anywhere. I know that at times you may doubt your relationship to Hanako, but she does. Lily cuts herself off and takes a moment to reconsider her words. Please keep in mind that I wouldn't have befriended you if I hadn't thought you were a fundamentally good person. You're a good friend, both to myself and to Hanako. Thank you, that helps. We share some small talk to try and lighten the atmosphere, but it feels very stilted. There's a lot I don't know about Lily's stay in Scotland, but after such a heavy subject, I want to be alone for a bit to think. Hang on a sec. Okay. Oh shit, I meant to... Sure, why not? Oh. Right. After a few minutes, we end up saying our goodbyes, and I set my phone on my desk. Compared to Hanako's situation, mine feels utterly mundane. Still have both of my parents, I had a reasonably normal childhood, and unlike many in Yamaku, my condition isn't immediately visible to the public. But then again, isn't that just an attempt to justify the way I've been acting towards her? That may well be... What? Oh, that may well be what our pasts were like, but when it comes to the future, I still have no idea what I want to do. At school, I've just concentrated on each day's work, and I've put off more and more things to cater to Hanako. I recall the words Muto told me about Hanako's breakdown, about the purpose of Yamaku and my education. In hindsight, he was probably trying to push exactly the same thing. Just what have I been doing in the time since my heart attack? If I ever did manage to get Hanako out of her room and to open up, what then? I look out of my dormitory window as the sun slowly sets. It's a nice sight, but what I really savor is the quiet as the students return to their dormitory rooms. All I want to do now is think. I'm not sure how much time I have, but I want to work out where I'll go from here. Since talking to Lily yesterday, I've wanted to try and what? No, try and move on from the listlessness I felt ever since coming to Yamaku. But even if I try to concentrate on the book in front of me, Hanako's empty seat at the back of the classroom looms larger than life. Every time I start getting focused, my eyes flick over to her desk again, and my mind starts spinning. Hey, it's the chick whose name I can't remember. Once more my eyes drift over to it, but this time my vision is blocked by a certain other classmate. Miki, that's right. Oh, hey, Mickey. Maybe you should just have lunch. I can hear her stomach growling from my desk. I let my head drop in disappointment. She seems to take some amusement from my reaction and hops up onto my desk. Her grin as she sits on it reminds me of the Cheshire Cat. So, what you working on? Some maths. I have a decent handle on it, but I just wanted to revise. Oh, really? Let me see that. Before I can object, she grabs my mathematics books with her hand. She scans the page I was on, holding it open with one hand, with the one hand she has, her left arm sitting uselessly on her lap. In my time here at Yamaku, I've noticed that the other students have a wide range of adjustments to their disabilities. On a purely aesthetic level, Miki is one of those who seems to have some trouble. The stump on her left arm tends to be either hanging by her side, slipping into a pocket, or otherwise put out of the way. Sometimes she just has a difficult time doing common tasks, which makes her visibly quite frustrated. I feel a little bad for thinking this way, but I'm thankful that Hanako and I don't have disabilities affecting our freedom of movement to that extent. Then again, if Miki's problems worsened, at least she wouldn't have a real possibility of dying. My attention is refocused as she thumbs through a few pages, skimming their contents. With such casual interest in the subject matter, it's clear by now that she won't be any help. I'm guessing you're not too interested in this stuff. Screw math, it's boring as hell. She puts the book back in front of me with indifference. Her eyes move to the notebook beside it that I've been working on practicing equations on. Wait, you're actually able to work that stuff out? Yeah. Wow, I've never talked to a computer with legs before. Thanks, I think. At least I'm doing better in this than history. Think it's worth asking that librarian for help? I hear she's shooting for uni. Yuko? Maybe. I don't know what she wants to study though. So what about you? Got anything you're thinking of doing after you graduate? Me? Nah, not really. Just enjoying it while it lasts. She looks a little awkward when asked about her future and absentmindedly rubs her left forearm. I kind of want to ask her about it, but I don't think I know her well enough to do so. Hang on. I'm going to turn on the light. The conversation peters out, and I lean back in my chair, giving up on the prospect of studying. Miki notices my tired expression and looks oddly serious. Thinking about Hanako? It's that obvious? You've been glancing at her seat, and you've been pretty quiet. Not too hard to connect the dots. I'm just worried about her. Yeah, I can see why you would be. She can get weird sometimes. She sounds put off, but I can't blame her. Hanako was a hard person to interact with before she warmed up to me. Even with Lily around to help, I haven't known her for that long either, so some of her habits would still be unknown to me. My face becomes troubled. If I hadn't developed feelings for her, this would be at least a little easier to deal with. I mean, no offense, she isn't a bad person, I know that much. I know, I didn't take it that way. It's just harder to deal with when, well, you know, you have feelings for someone. Yeah, I can imagine that. It's hard to forget something like that happened to her during class too. I wish she hadn't reminded me of that. She just confirmed that it was clearly noticed by others in the room as well. Come on, don't get that down. She's done this before, you've just got to wait it out. She locks herself in a room and acts like an empty husk of a person for a sizable amount of time. Ever since she entered Yamaku, if not before then as well. And I'm not supposed to be concerned about that? Well, I might think that, but there's nothing that I can do. I can't force her to come out. And she does see a therapist, so it's not like she isn't getting any help for her issues. Maybe it's natural to think that way when you're so powerless to help someone that's just the way she is, and you just have to deal with it. As I mull things over, I notice a movement out of the corner of my eyes. I glance to see who it is and end up doing a double take. Sure enough, it's Hanako. She walks through the door just as she would any normal school day and begins to move towards the seat in her usual silent and humble manner. She looks at me for a moment before blushing and looking away in embarrassment, which makes me realize that I was staring at her. I feel sorry for that, but not doing it is hard after all that's happened. The girl sitting on my desk looks at me, grinning. See? Your sweetheart's back already. What did I tell you? You be quiet. It might only be meant as a joke, but she hits close enough to make me quite uncomfortable. As we talk, someone calls Miki's name from the door. She jumps down from her vantage point on my desk before turning to me. Gotta go, Sao. Remember to eat something, will you? Fine, I will. See ya. She gives a casual salute before jogging out of the room, where a male student in gym uniform is waiting for her. Probably someone from the track and field club. Seizing the opportunity, I get up and make my way to Hanako's desk. Hello. Hi, Hanako. What's up? Nothing. Maybe talking to her this soon after she came back to class was a bad move. I want to go come with me and grab something from the cafeteria? I'm pretty hungry. But I thought you were studying. Studying can wait. Turning up for class after all this time must have taken some courage for Hanako, so the least I can do is stay with her. That's just the way she is. You just have to deal with it. Is the way Miki and probably the class as a whole views Hanako. I can do more for her though. I want to do more for her. After being distracted by Miki, I don't think I'm gonna get any work done. Come on, let's go. She hesitates, but eventually gets up and joins me as we begin walking. These may be small steps for her, but the fact that she finally got out of her room of her own volition, lifts a large weight off my shoulders. My pen busily scrolls onto a slowly filling page on my notebook. My other hand remains on the page of a reference book I borrowed from the library, marking my spot as my eye flickers to and fro. As I work, I occasionally mark red circles or underline onto the photocopied sheets of paper that lie on the table in front of me. Wanting a change of scenery from the library and to avoid the distraction of the classroom, I decided to make use of the Shanghai for some quiet study time. It ended up being nice and quiet as expected, and being able to get coffee while I study is a nice bonus. Hanako may have returned to her normal self since she came out of our room, but I've done quite the opposite. Daily routine may have returned to us, but I feel as if I'm a different person. Maybe I'm not. It's only been a few days after all since I decided I wanted to try and get out of the rut I found myself in after my accident. But I want to change, and I'm now actively working towards that goal. Or at least, I would like to think that I am. Ugh, this is impossible. Brute forcing this isn't gonna work. What's more, I have another piece of writing I have to do after this. I fear that's gonna be no easier. I look up in mild surprise to the source of the tentative voice. Yuko stands at the head of the table with a damn towel in hand, clearly having taken the opportunity to clean the tables when no other patrons were around. She looks curious, her eyes as much on my work as on me. Her work? On my work as on me, okay. What's the matter? I was just wondering, what sort of work are you having so much trouble with? Oh, it's just history. I'm fine with science and math, so I'm trying to get my other subjects up to par. History's so easy, though. And it's actually interesting. Yuko looks positively delighted at this development. I feel like I just chose the right answer of some big quiz show. Oh, I think I can help you with that. If you don't mind, of course. Yuko rat! Yuko rat! Studying with Yuko. I briefly considered turning down the offer in order to not cause her too much trouble, but she looks too excited about this for me to do it. It would be mean to shoot her down like this after such a reaction. Yuko rat! Yuko rat! If you're willing to help, I'd really appreciate it. She claps her hands together and quickly deposits her towel on the counter before returning and taking a seat across from me. I take my notebook off the top of the textbook and hand it over to her to peruse. Is that the word? I don't know. So you're studying the Edo period. Yo, I know about the Edo period. Fun fact, Japanese high school textbooks often say that the ro, type of currency during the Edo period, is worth like, what do they say? They usually say, I think, 200,000 to 500,000, but it's not. It's actually worth not that much yen, if I'm remembering right. At least according to the Museum Bank Japan, something like that. Some kind of museum of money or something. Like, completely goes against what a lot of the textbooks say the ro was worth, which I think is interesting. Also, 14 years into Edo period is when pleasure quarters were established, which are areas on the outskirts of cities, which is where brothels had to be established. They had to be established in like their own section that was in the outskirts of cities, and that was like really early in Edo they introduced that. Also, it's called Edo because they moved the capital from Kyoto to what we now call Tokyo, but it was called Edo. And then the Edo period ended with the fall of Edo, which was shortly after the treaty was signed that allowed the UK, the US, and Russia to travel and do trade with Japan. They opened the country, they stopped being closed, and two prefectures hated it, so they formed a coup and restructured the entire government. And yeah, that's when there stopped being an emperor and stopped being a shogunate, and Edo got renamed to Tokyo, which means Eastern Capital, right? Yeah, Eastern Capital. That's what Tokyo means. See, I know shit about the Edo period. I could honestly say more. I could go more into brothels. I know about how brothels worked in the Edo period. Yeah, I'm not really much good at this, though. She takes the textbooks and read a few pages from a random section near the middle for a bit. But the aura of enthusiasm she's been radiating previously is rapidly sapping away. Guessing this isn't the kind of history you were expecting. Fortunately not. My main area is European history, especially in the classical era. Sorry. She was hoping for that European history. Lots of wars. That's pretty much all it was. Although I also know a bit about European history, like the forming of Germany. And also how Germany's structure and its forming and the way it was formed and then the way it was run shortly after it was formed pretty much doomed it to inevitably have World War I and World War II happen. It's kind of unavoidable when you look at the way Germany functioned, especially once the person who formed it altogether then died. She looks a bit downcast, but as she carefully closes the book and lays it back down on the table, her face perks up again. Would you like another cup of coffee? Oh yeah, sure. I reach forward and get my book back as Yuko gets up, takes my mug, and slowly walks to the counter to make another brew. As usual, she's absolutely silent. As she does this, every ounce of her concentration is focused on not tipping over or dropping the plain white mug. I take the opportunity to lay back and relax for a bit, the hum of the coffee machine filling the otherwise quiet air. Small details like this that make me realize how much I've come to appreciate the little things in life. The peace and quiet of the local town, the discipline and order of Yamaku, the green of the teas that were so rare in my home city, the relaxed pace at which the aging residents live their lives. Everything feels so certain. It's comforting. I can feel myself beginning to nod off when the sound of the mug coming to rest on the table grabs my attention. Seems like it arrived not a moment too soon. Yuko takes her previous seat once again as I pick myself up and bring a hand around the mug to check its temperature. It's just a little too hot to drink right now, so I blow on it a little. It's a shame you don't like history all that much. I sort of guessed you might be more into science. How so? You've nearly read out the science fiction section of the library already. It wasn't hard to notice. You do have a good point there. Well, what can I say? You've pegged me just about right. Sounds like you really take an interest in history, though, especially considering how specific you were about it. Do you study in that area or something? Go on digs overseas? She giggles nervously at the thought. I'd like to visit the Mediterranean sometime and see the old architecture and art for myself, but I don't think I could trust myself to handle such delicate things. I'm saving up to formally study at university, though. I also read up on it whenever I have free time outside of work. So Miki was right about her university aspirations. Considering how she fares as a waitress, a more theoretical path may suit Yuko better. It's nice to hear that she has some ambition, though, considering how hard she works. I nod and take a careful sip of my coffee. But now it's cooled to the By now it's cooled to the right temperature, so I begin to drink while keeping an eye on the book below, trying to read at the same time. A few minutes pass quietly, Yuko looking out the window and watching the world go by while I have my coffee and study. A movement catches my eye and I look up to see Yuko smiling and waving to someone outside. Following her gaze, surprisingly, reveals that someone to be Hanako. She's looking at us from the side of the street across from where we are. Her usually all too visible timidity is largely absent, possibly thanks to there being so few people around right now. Evidently, she decides to join us, as after a little wave, she gives a quick glance up and down the street and crosses towards the side that the cafe is on. The familiar doorbell to the Shanghai rings out as Hanako enters and makes her way to the table we're sitting at. Hello. Good afternoon. Hi, Hanako. What's up? Nothing. Just going for a walk. Since the weather was nice. Yeah, I get what you mean. I'm glad I decided to study here instead of the library. It's comfortable in here thanks to that better... what? Oh, better than the sometimes quite stuffy library. I look to Yuko, who nods in response. It's nice. It's just a shame that summer can't last forever. Oh, wait. Sorry. Would you like a drink? Hanako shakes her head. Thankfully, it's enough to calm Yuko back down. How are you... How are you going with studying? I was trying to do the stutter that she does, and I accidentally then caused myself to actually stutter. I really need to pee. keep making the same mistake. God damn it. Alright. Did I... Right, okay. Oh yeah, have you talked with Lily? I'm interested too. How is she doing? She's enjoying it, I think. I think that's all we're gonna get out of her. Being around Yukio is tensing her up. It would be so nice to travel to Scotland. Green fields, castles, lovely small towns, men in kilts, interesting history. Can't say I see the appeal of men in kilts myself. It does seem like a picturesque place though. As we talk, the jingle of the doorbell rings again. Hanako is startled, noticing Yuko's panicked expression at the prospect that she might leave customers to wait a handful of seconds due to a chatter with us.